Okay, good evening, fellow members of the Malta Photographic Society. Welcome back to our Thursday club nights. As instructed in our email, due to the current COVID-19 alarming situation, we had to take the tough but necessary decision to protect you and shift our meetings from the Floriana Local Council Hall to meeting online. The Executive Committee would like to thank the Floriana Local Council for understanding and approving our decision, and thank you, loyal members, for acknowledging our recommendation. Health is a priority, and thus, in every decision taken, we need to be sensitive but accountable. In this first Thursday Club Night encounter of 2022, Mr. Martin Agius, a supportive member of our society, is going to process and edit some photos sent by our members in the Lightroom Classic, an amazing tool that allows great flexibility with non-destructive editing and processing. I would like to thank Martin for accepting our invitation and replaced the scheduled talk titled Route 66 by our seasoned member Guido Bonett. Guido will give us his presentation later on in the coming weeks. I would like to thank those members who provided us with a series of raw images to be edited live today in this tutorial session by Mr. Martin Agius. I will ask you to close your mics, and if there are any questions for Martin, kindly write in the chat, and then I will allow you to forward your query. The tutor, Mr. Martin Agius, is a professional photographer and has been using Lightroom from when it was launched. He has been teaching Lightroom from 2015, and over these years, he used Lightroom to process hundreds of award-winning photos. I am sure that this is going to be a very interesting session. Dear all, may I kindly remind you to renew your membership. The renewal of your membership fee is indispensable. Together with the organized courses, your membership is our main source of financial income. Throughout this year, we all became aware of how important it is to have a solid financial situation. The Executive Committee is striving very hard to make sure that our beloved society will have its own premises. The more financially stable we are, the better. Let us all together pull the same rope and make this year another memorable year. Next week, during the AGM, the Honorary Treasurer, Mr. John Cilia, when reading the accounts, will point out the financial growth that the society saw in 2021. Thanks to all those who in some way or another contributed financially. So please help us to keep being of service for you and the photographic community. Today week, we will be holding the AGM via Zoom. Next week, all paid-up members will receive a link to access this meeting. You are kindly requested to put up your names in your Zoom profile to make it easier for us to allow you in the room. An email with the notification of the AGM has been sent to you by the Honorary Secretary on Wednesday, 29th December. I encourage you to attend to the yearly annual general meeting, as it is an opportunity for the Exco to share the news, challenges, and successes the society did in the past year, and receive your approval. Now, I am going to share a PowerPoint with the latest news from the society. I encourage you to take note of the important notices in this slideshow. For information or suggestions, kindly speak to one of the committee members. Thanks. Thank you. Now I will hand the floor to Mr. Martin Agius to start this live tutorial session.
First of all, Happy New Year to everyone. At Nestama, can you hear me?
Yes, Martin.
All right. I would like to thank the Malta Photographic Society Exco for their support towards me and everyone, not just me, but I appreciate what they're doing for all of us. Today, I'm just going to show a part of Lightroom, of what it can be done with it in editing. Okay, it's not as fast as Photoshop, but last October they did a major update and we have much more stuff to edit with. And I'm still not 100% on them, but 99% I'm there. So, because some of them were there, they just move them around, and some tools are new. But I'm going to show you my way, how I edit. There's no such good edit or bad edit. Everybody has his own style, apart if you overdo it. Obviously, I'm going to do most of the editing, but I'm not going to fine-tune it because we don't have that much time. There's just a taste for those who would be interested in doing a Lightroom course, hopefully this year. So, and I would like to thank those who send their images to editing. I've seen them this morning. I went through them, and it's going to be a bit of a headache to me, but feel free to ask and anything that you like. So bear with me because I'm using two computers. So first of all, I'm going to show you, so later on you will understand better. I have the images that were sent to me. They are all raw files. I'm showing you this because I will show you that when you are editing, you are not working on the files that you have in the folder. So first of all, I need to import them in Lightroom. Obviously, you have to know where you save them and go on. Since I did this morning, Lightroom still remembers where they are. Import. You have to do this in the library mode, and you will start getting them on the left-hand side in their specific folders. I like to do these manually. You can import direct from your cameras or cards, but I'm old school. I do everything manually and then import into Lightroom. So let's start with this is of Joe at Third. I go to the develop module. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a virtual copy. So after I edit it, we can see the before and after. By doing a virtual copy, you haven't done another photo in your folder. It's just virtual. Even the editing is virtual. So first thing I do, obviously, when you have your own Lightroom and you're working with Lightroom, you will do this automatically. Lightroom remembered what I did this morning, but usually these are off. You go to lens correction, tick remove chromatic aberration, and tick enable profile corrections. As you can see, it corrected the lens. And Lightroom recognized that it was a Nikon, and obviously the model and even the lens. Once I'm done with that, first of all, I click the crop tool. Over here, you have like Photoshop, presets, but you can do your own presets as well. But I'm going to do this manually. I forgot, but I prefer to do it this way. First, I click on the crop tool and then I go to transform. So it arranges the perspective. I went on auto. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Many times it does, but if, as I can see, it didn't, so I will turn the crop. I'm cropping this way, so I will avoid this white patch up here. So I'm avoiding that. All right. So now, oh, it went too low. First, I will start. Over here, we have all the tools that we used to have up here. Most of them are here. The brush, linear, radial, color range, and luminance range. They are here. And now we have as well select subject and select sky. We will see these later on. What I'm going to do is a radial gradient. As you can see, it did a mask here. You click and move to the right to make the radial as large as you want it. You can turn it as well. And now, this is new as well. You can, from here, adjust the feathering. The feathering will be done from here to here. Or you can use here. But this is more convenience for us now that it's here. Before it used just to be here. And now I will go to the haze, that part. As you can see, it is affecting a bit over here. So what one can do is click on these three dots here, intersect, luminance range, I'm working on the laptop, everything is small. Why it didn't come? Oh, when going live, this is what happens. Intersect. Oh, yeah. Well, wait a minute. All right, wait. For some reason, let me start from the beginning. Delete all masks and see what the heck is happening. Intersect. Ah, all right, I wasn't seeing it, it's over here. And what I'm going to do here is that when I'm moving, I don't know if you can see, but I'm sure you can see better than when I was over at the club. The mask, I can press O so you can see better. What I'm telling Lightroom to do, the mask actually, is not to affect the dark areas. And I can also feather it a bit. So now, as you can see, it's all right, it's not 100%, but mainly there, just to darken that bit. If you're not happy, you can always go back, click on the mask, and adjust the mask as you want. Over here, I'm seeing it needs a bit of darkening as well, so I will go and create a new mask. Another radial will do. All right, I'm going to do another radial so I can fix these. I tend not to go -50 in the highlights because then it will start going grayish and it will look bad. I will do a linear gradient now over here. The good thing is that you can tell Lightroom how much feathering you want. The feathering will be here, but the effect will start from down here, not from here. From here to the middle. Darken a bit. And a bit those highlights. I will give it a bit of contrast. I'm going to desaturate it a bit because it's a bit saturated for my taste. What I'm going to do, I'm going back here to give it a bit of texture, a bit of clarity. Another good point is that unlike Photoshop, in Photoshop when you save, all right, if you save it in layers, you can go back and all that, but the file will be, obviously it will go very large. Over here, you can always go back, even in 5 years' time, and readjust what you did today. And you are not having space added into your hard disk. So your hard disk is still with the same raw files, if you don't export them, obviously.
Martin, 2 questions. So
Yep.
are you creating another file?
No, that's what I'm saying. You're not creating another file. This is all virtual in Lightroom.
Okay.
If you go, this is Joe Attard. If I go on Joe Attard's image, no editing.
Okay.
That's the good thing with Lightroom. It does everything virtual. Another one? Another question, Stephen? I cannot hear you, Stephen. Minix nisamak, Stephen.
There are no questions
All
yet.
right. Because you said 2 questions. All right. No problem. So, presets are also good here. Presets are like action tools in Photoshop. You can do your own presets. Obviously, like action tools, you do presets that you use very often. I have a noise reduction one and a sharpening one. Sharpening, obviously, you do it in the end, which is the detail, but I'm going to go further on. This image, just to show you, just a quick, how to transform it to black and white. Just click black and white. You're not done, obviously. Go to the tone curve, as you have in Photoshop. You can adjust or you can use the presets that it comes with it. Sometimes they work good. The strong contrast, I prefer it.
But you're doing this to the whole image. You can't do this to sections. You can't, for example, take direct channel and work on it.
No. Yes, not no. Oh, sorry. Yes, you have them here.
Okay. Okay.
So I move a bit the blacks. When working over here from the basic, you're working on the whole image. With the masks, you're working on that certain part. So that's another good thing. You can also brush. You adjust the brush. Let's say highlights. I'm going to exaggerate maybe. You can press O on your keyboard to see where you've brushed. And well, I'm exaggerating touch so you can see better. And finally, when I'm done, I go on detail and adjust from here. I have the preset here. I will explain. As you can see, it changed here. And I will show you what it does exactly. This works like the high pass in Photoshop. So let me start from search. Sharpening, don't, as I've learned, I'm going to teach you, don't go over 75. And masking, a good thing with masking is press the Alt button, start moving the mask slider. Where you're seeing white, it's being sharpened. So I just want to sharpen the edges. So I keep moving. I know it by heart, between 90 and 95. As you can see now, it's sharpening those parts only. You can go further to 100. And it just sharpened. You can go back and adjust. Give it a bit the haze. And you can also go to the effects and do the vignette. Vignette, you can even change the midpoint, the roundness, the feathering as well. and so on. Now, as you can see, I'm going to show you what we've done. I go back to library to compare. So you can see larger. Pressing L on your keyboard, it dims light. Pressing L again, lights off. So you see that contrast with the black background, how the images. Pressing L again will switch on the lights.
The images are not showing, Martin.
They are not showing?
No.
They're sharing. Let me see. So, like this, you are seeing them?
No, no. As you pressed.
Yeah.
No.
Like this, you're seeing them, but?
No, neither.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
It is showing that it is showing as a small thumbnail down.
Well, all right. We scrap this. Oh. Well, like this you're seeing, no?
Wait, because it's loading.
Maybe all right. No, all right?
No, 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 it's not showing.
Hello, hello.
I see an index of 2. I think there are 2 images showing on that particular slide.
It was supposed to show 2, but now it's only 1. Can you see this?
No, we're not showing the image.
Mother, wait a minute. Echo, right?
No, no, no. Maybe you need to switch off and start it.
Listen, crop 1.
Copy one at it. It's just the details, the EXIF data.
Wait a minute. Let me switch off. Lightroom and put it on again.
So, Paul, therefore, I would like to ask you a question while you're trying to refresh the Lightroom Classic. Paul?
Can you see
Yes,
now?
Martin, when you were saving, where are these manipulations being saved? As an attachment to the original file, as a standalone file?
No, it's saving in itself. This is done virtually. So if you want this then to send to somebody, then you need to export it to have the image with all the editing that you've done. Apart from that, it's just in Lightroom what you've done.
Okay, so when you switch off your computer and you put it back again, it has all these manipulations saved on the picture itself.
in Lightroom.
Fantastic, very good.
In Lightroom. Can you see the image now?
No, you need to start the sharing, Martin.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Let me try again. Can you see both images now?
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't know what happened. Lights off.
Yeah, now it turned when you switch to light.
Like this, you're seeing that?
No.
Hello.
That be due to zooming?
No. That's something with the lights off. So now it's gone again.
It's not showing.
Bear with me, guys. I don't. I have to learn something new with Lightroom when you're sharing on these things. Anyway, just for you to compare, you can choose both images, and by hitting L on your keyboard.
Martin, can I
Yes.
say something while you
Wait a minute. So I share. Oh, wait, all right. Oh, Vince, yes.
عوادي الكرتة
Tell me how.
if I understood correctly, the Lightroom creates just one file, which is called the DNG, the digital negative, right?
No. When you export.
Yes. When you export.
No,
it
when you
creates
export,
one file.
you have
with
JPEG,
editing.
PSD, TIFF, PNG, DNG, and original.
No. Mela, let me rephrase. When you do the editing, the edited image is created in one file, which is the DNG.
Wait a minute. The DNG, because I did a virtual copy.
Yes, but
normally, wait a minute, Vince. Normally, when you're working on the raw file, it remains as a raw file.
Okay, no, my point is, it doesn't create a separate sidecar with the editing details.
You can do that from the presets and do the XMP file.
You can create that.
Yes, but then obviously you will have more.
You have two separate files because I think it is an advantage to have two separate files. The reason being is that if your raw file, all right, you would have always a backup, but if your raw file gets corrupted and you've got just a single file, you have to start all over again. Whilst if you have the sidecar, you just replace the raw file, and then automatically with the sidecar, you have the editing tool, all you did with the file, the tools and everything, they're saved in the XMP file.
So wait a minute. You are right, but I'm going to show you. When you save Lightroom, it saves a catalog file. These.
Martin.
Yes.
It freezed.
Raja. Sharing post. I don't know why. All right. I'm clicking resume share, but
Okay.
All right. Well, when you save with Lightroom, it saves the catalog. And over here, it will save everything that you did in Lightroom. Everything. Yes, what I do is that every time I save here, I don't save every data, but every time I do a save, I save on separate hard drives these catalogs as well.
Okay.
So if something happens, you need to format your computer. It could happen. All I do is, when you install everything, I just come here, double click on this, and Lightroom will open like where you left it. Obviously, if you didn't save a day or two, you will lose those. So it's good that
it's all done in the catalog. They're not individually per each file.
Exactly.
Okay.
But you can do the XMP file as well. So you have two ways to save. Well, well, we had this and we came to this. Since the sharing is not showing. But Stephen, when I showed the images side by side before pressing
Yes,
the...
yes. They were showing.
Remember, we can still see them. I will not do the lights off.
Yeah.
All right, guys and girls. So let's
Thank
go.
you.
Bit of a headache. Well, a nice event image. Sorry, no. First of all, I will go on the crop tool to arrange the perspective. Or let me show you, you can choose 8 by 10. Let's go 8 by 10. This is just showing. You can also, like in Photoshop, choose the white balance from here. Auto, not bad. You can click the pipette and see how it works. If it, while I'm hovering with the pipette, you can see how it's going to come over there.
But that you're trying to find an 18% gray color.
Or you can go on a white or on a black part.
Okay, but it's
But
best.
since I have gray, obviously I go for the gray. And
yeah.
it's a matter of taste as well.
But sometimes during these, during photo shoots, it's best to use a gray card so that it will facilitate afterwards to just go with the pipette and click on it, and you will have the correct white balance.
If you can, yes, but during an event, I don't think it will be possible. Maybe it will, but if you can, yes, a gray card will help you much better, obviously. So I'm going to start with the linear gradient, so I darken a bit the top. As you can see, if I overdo it, it goes gray. So that's why I said, just be careful of what is happening, so you don't overdo it. I like to close so I can see, and then I go back, I create a new mask, this time the brush. Check the exposure. I will make the brush a bit smaller. I'm going to brush a bit their faces and hand, so it shows better. As you can see, pressing go, it tells you where you brushed, and so I'm going to exaggerate. Just that tiny bit. I'm going to create a radial. So I will darken a bit this.
What are the short keys on your keyboard to increase and decrease the radial? Is it the same brackets? What?
Yes. For the brush, yes.
Okay, brackets.
Yeah.
Alt?
As I don't know. Because I have some shortcuts that I use very often, and some, this I like to go because it's just sliders in Lightroom. So, as you can see, the radial, to enlarge, you said? Let me see.
Yeah, enlarge and just brackets.
Or maybe, no.
Just brackets, probably. Try the brackets. It's like
but most probably they are switched off from my Mac.
Okay.
So, but all the shortcuts of Adobe work on every Adobe editor. So
Okay.
Lightroom, Bridge, Photoshop, and even the video editing as well. All those shortcuts are all the same. Now I just go black and white. Over here you have 4 squares. You can click and you have other presets that you can choose. It's like the Nick filters, sort of. But I prefer to do it my way. I like to go to the tone curve. First I try the strong. That's too much. Medium works perfectly, but you can still adjust. Although you go with the preset, you can still adjust it yourself. So it's a good point. I will do another radial gradient to get a bit of shadow. Pressing J on your computer will switch on the clippings. This is the shadows area, and this is the highlights. The shadows, I'm going to exaggerate so you can see. If you're seeing blue, there's no detail in the blues. And if you see red, there's no detail in the highlights. So be careful for those. And I like to switch them on so they help me. To have a tiny bit of no detail, it's okay. I go to give it a bit of contrast. I forgot to do in the beginning, because this is automatically to switch on the what camera is this? Sony or Alex? That's it. It makes a bit of difference. Now I'm going to darken this bit since I fixed that. Create linear. And can sharpen. I will go back. These you can rename them as well. Just right click and rename. You can also, like layers in Photoshop, switch on and off. And for me, that is done. Obviously, I didn't create a virtual copy, but you can still do this, create virtual copy. Right click, settings, reset, and from this, to this. Okay, if you're working for a competition or exhibition, you will keep on editing as it should be. And if you need to, you can continue. I'm going to show you this. Right click, edit in Adobe Photoshop, and it will upload the image with all the edits in Photoshop, with all the edits that you've done in Lightroom in Photoshop, to continue editing it. But then when you save, it will save a TIFF file in that in the same folder. Yeah. there was an update of Photoshop, and as you can see, I don't use it much. And you can continue editing here, but by saving it and quitting Photoshop, now you have a TIFF file as well. And now you have the TIFF in the folder as well. So now you have two files. A TIFF file is 108 megabytes. So, but I only finish off in Photoshop if I need to, or when I'm entering a competition or doing an exhibition, to refine it more. Or sometimes there's some tools that are missing in Lightroom, and you obviously need to go into Photoshop. Lightroom has the clone and healing brush, how content aware, but most of the time they don't work good. So if you need to clean some stuff with the content aware tool, you have to go into Photoshop if you need to.
Well, we have some questions, Martin, and also I will pass on the mic to Alexander, so because it's a sys image, so that if he needs to ask any question, he can ask. Let me start with Paul. He asked you, in Photoshop, you are working on layers. You switch off layers to see before and after.
Yes.
Can you do the same in Lightroom? Not globally?
In the masks, obviously, wait a minute, because I need to go on the row. Like in Photoshop, you have the sort of eye, and you switch off or switch on. And you can do this from here as well. Okay, Paul. Next.
The other question is, where are the files physically saved when you export?
You have to tell it where to export. It doesn't. Computers are stupid. Don't forget. Export. Over here, you choose where you want. You can use specific folder, same folder as original. Mainly, if I'm exporting, I'm going to send them or to the printer or for a competition or an exhibition or online. So I just put them on the desktop, put in subfolder. So I will name a folder, whatever. You can rename from here, choose the format, JPEG, PSD, TIFF, and so on, the sizes, sRGB, Adobe, and so on. Width, height, and etc. This is longest site, shortest site, and the resolution. If it's online, you can tick sharpen, you can add the metadata, you can add watermarks. Whatever. A good thing with watermarks in Lightroom is that no matter what, if it's a landscape or portrait or 8x6, 10x5, or whatever the size and format and all that, it will make that. Let me show you, because you will understand me better. Edit watermarks. Once you, let's say I want to MPSLR course. Over here, you can change fonts and blah, blah, blah. The size that you want it, where you want it, right, bottom, middle, bottom, top, in the middle, wherever you want it. And you tell it 5 pixels from horizontally and 5 pixels vertically, or whatever you want. You can adjust that. So, but from now on, whenever, if you are doing a new preset, you just click save and name the preset, obviously. Or you click up here and update preset if you are updating the watermark. Let me save it. Create. So now I can choose MPS seller. I'm going to export this. MPS seller. Export. A good thing is that it calculates the size of the image, and if it's horizontal, it's landscape or portrait, and it will always do.
It freezed again, Martin.
Given the Zella Lightroom.
Okay. Okay. No.
All right. It will always make it the right way and the right size as per that image. So you don't have to do different sizes of watermarks and so on. Another good thing. Alexander wanted to ask something.
Yes, Martin, il-Lightroom faċilità fuq il-black and white where to check the 0 to 255.
Yes, here it is, the histogram.
Le, you go on the image or
Okay. Like the Control M, Alt Control M on Photoshop.
Il-Photoshop għandek il-curve.
Alt Control M. You can go Alt Control M.
I don't know the question, but I will check for you.
You know what I'm referring to?
Yes. Ġamet narawa fil-photo in Photoshop from.
I think there was. Emma, that's on the right now on the curve. If you go on the image, ma jtilek fuq il-curve, fuq il-curve. Jtilek fuq il-curve jew. Mhix il-mouse fuq l-image.
Aw fuq etik, taraħ ten.
Le, ma mhix il-mouse fuq l-image ma jtix fuq il-curve.
Le.
Ma jtik xejn. No.
Maybe in here, but I will check that for you. Because I just noticed my histogram. As you can see, another thing from the histogram is instead of changing the sliders from here, you can grab here and move. And as you can see down here, it will move.
No, but what he's saying.
I know what he's saying.
When you go on the image, you go on certain areas. And
I don't know the answer for this question, but I will check for you.
Thank you.
Martin, you have 30 minutes left, so we need to
hurry up. All right.
Move on.
So I go on another image. First of all, I'm going to crop it. Obviously, this needed to be was done to be cropped. Pressing X on your keyboard will toggle from landscape to portrait as well. I'm seeing it a bit too orangey. I guess it was done with flash. Ooh, how bad it worked. Auto. No. So you try If it stays a bit orangey, I'd like to go down to the HSL color. And I just desaturate the orange. Obviously it goes, if you overdo it, it will go white. But until you are happy, you can even use the yellow. A bit the highlights down. Yes. I'm going to show you how the select subject works on this image. Click on the tools, select subject, give it some time to work. Yes. What I want is to darken the background. So I just click invert over here. And now I can darken those backgrounds. And now I'm going to create another mask, another select subject. Because her hair is a bit lost with the background, and put up a bit the shadows. Maybe the highlights a bit more. A bit the white. Lens correction, all right. Since I work with Canon, it recognized the Canon. And now we have this bit of line. I'm going to show you the content aware healing brush. You just drag. It goes bonkers. It always goes where it shouldn't go. But you can drag it where you want.
What are you doing, Martin?
There was a bit of line here.
Okay.
I'm removing it, like with
Okay,
the
okay,
content
okay.
aware.
Okay.
You can click on the healing brush or clone.
Okay.
Yes, I'm seeing a bit of white here. I will get radial filter. A bit of sharpen. And for me, it's all right. You can also go black and white, but it's so and so. So I'm not going to skip this one. I will go back to it, but I'm going to show you this. I'm just cropping this. I don't know why it strikes to me that to do it square format. Radial gradient. So, because that's a bit of distraction. So instead of creating a new mask, you can also right click on the radial and duplicate radial and move it to another place. And you can also adjust it. Create new mask, select subject now. Maybe I give this one a bit of clarity. And I do the sharpening. But I would like to lighten a bit more her face. It's just a matter of taste. And that's it. We're gonna do this now. This is a challenge, but we will do it. Lens correction. I don't know. Sometimes it recognizes the camera, sometimes it does it. RAF. Anybody knows what type of RAF? It's not Fuji.
Marco Belocca can tell us. I think it's Fuji. Marco, is it?
Yes, Fuji.
Fuji. I thought so. All right. This is a bit overexposed, as you can see from the histogram. Now I'm going to select the sky. This is another new tool. 99% these tools, they select sky and select subject. Do a good job. As you can see, darken it a bit. Give it a bit more contrast. And the good thing now, this, although it looks like the basic, it's only affecting that area that you selected. A bit of blacks down. Whites. And clarity, I will do it a bit down to soften a bit the sky. I'm gonna crop it in letterbox format. You can, to fix the horizon, you can try the auto, which obviously didn't work. Or you can choose the ruler or whatever they call this, I forgot, and like in Bridge and Photoshop work. Get another gradient, radial. If you have any questions, ask now while I'm going. I give it a bit texture and clarity. Give it a bit of saturation. And I want to enlarge this a bit. A bit of contrast. Try a bit of vignette. Not too much. Over here, I'm seeing a bit too bright, obviously, because there was the sun over there, but I'm going to create another mask, a bit of linear mask, darken it a bit. Just be careful not to overdo it and get caught of what you've done. For me, that is done. Another challenging one. So this, I'm going to go to select subject to remove that reddish color, invert, desaturate. Give it a bit of white. Let me move this from here. So this was shot really good. So in my opinion, there's not much to do, but one can turn it into black and white as well. And a bit of contrast. Well done. So now we have a challenging part. Select sky. Darken it a bit. Create new mask. Select sky. Invert. By inverting, now instead of the sky, it shows the land. Bit of the haze. So what I'm going to do, create a mask, radial filter. Subtract luminance range. ناخد من السكتة نفسها.
Leonard is going to ask you a question, Martin.
Yes, yes.
Martin,
Yes.
when you have a white subject, like the background of Patrick and the dress of the ladies, can't you put the pipette on it and get the white balance directly from it rather than doing the sliders?
Yes, yes, yes. You can, but since it's a white background, I wanted to, first of all, I wanted to bring more white onto it. So, but yes, you can do it. There are, like in Photoshop, you can do many ways.
Exactly. So
it's just a matter of taste. Huh?
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Welcome. Let me put another mask. Luminance range. Working on the laptop makes your life. There it is. Hard. Shit. Wait a minute. Let me do another gradient. That's it. Now we can see those mountains, which are beautiful, better. I will desaturate it a bit because now it's gone a bit too much. I will brush a bit of shadows in the trees.
Martin,
Yes,
ħaġa kif
yes, of course, of course.
il-sema, tista' tagħmilha b'xi mod xi djar daqsxejn iktar kulur, pereżempju?
Since there's no detail, no. You have to go into Photoshop and change the sky.
I understand, all right.
If like the one before, like this one, because there was a bit of detail, I managed to get it, but this was a bit blown out.
It's overexposed in that area.
Exactly, so it's too late.
There's no information, okay.
No. Just crop it. I will do.
Mistoqsija żgħira, Martin.
Yes, tista' tkun kbira.
Mela. Ġiex affarijiet, mela. Waħda żed waħda faċli. Tista' tbiddel is-sema?
Le. Le.
Għal Photoshop le.
No.
So let me repeat the question. Diego is asking, one can remove the sky?
No, in Lightroom, no.
Okay.
In that case, after you edit, you go into Photoshop like I showed, right-click, edit in Photoshop, change the sky and save it.
Laqas bi gradient filter ma tistax bit tagħmel gradient filter minn fuq għal isfel.
No, since there's no detail.
It will look artificial, I think.
Well, it will go grey because there's no detail. If there was detail, like I said, like in this one, yes, because there was still detail. I managed to get it, but without detail, I don't do miracles. But Photoshop does them. So
the second one is when you take from Lightroom, you take the photo in a row, how you say here. Koċek, Martin.
Say it in Maltese, don't worry, Diego.
Meta ittella fil-Lightroom ir-raw u teditjaħ u titfaw fil-Photoshop u jibqa' raw jew jinbidel.
Ir-raw file jibqa' hemm. Ma meta titla fil-Photoshop u teditja għandek teditja, x'inti ssejvja ħajġi tiffajl imbagħad kif għamilt hawnhekk.
Ġifieri meta
tara jiġi tiff.
Mill-Lightroom.
Baqa' raw.
Hemmhekk jagħtu raw, all right. Meta titfaw issa fuq il-Photoshop?
Kif tissejvja mill-Photoshop jiġik tiffajl. Jew PSD, skont tażel. Jew JPEG. Eżatt.
Ħajja jiftaħulek raw fil-Photoshop?
Le, tiff. Ħajkollok ġiex files issa. Raw file u l-edited version fil-Photoshop tiff, JPEG, whatever. Skont tissejvja inti.
Thank you.
Issa, another interesting one I would like to show of Stephen Bohaja, but and then there's I try to do that.
I try to do Martin, please.
I will do yours quickly because this is something to show differently. But yes, we will have time. Mala, over here we have a panorama. And you can stitch panoramas in Lightroom. Obviously, highlight all the images. We have 6 images here. Right-click, photo merge, panorama. Because this is a good thing, Stephen, to show. But yes, Marty's one is similar to my work, so that's very easy for me to do. And as you can see, it's stitched very well. You can do auto crop, but I don't like to do this. Just click merge now. And now it will, in this case, it will do a DNG file. Because obviously it made a photo from these 6 images. So it depends. of your computer and how large the files are. It takes a bit of time. You're seeing it, it's creating the panorama. But we have it over here. I don't know why it did editing. So I will reset. So as you can see, the building is not straight. So I will go to the transform tool. Obviously, if I'm going to click auto, it's not going to do a good job, but I will go to the grid or hash or whatever, find a straight point, click and down, find over here, we found some doors here. So you have to be, whoa. And it adjusted, but
So that is for alignment, Martin.
Sort of the warp, or a sort of warp to straighten the perspective.
To answer Poli's question, Lightroom is used only for raw files. You cannot import JPEGs.
Yes, you can.
You can as well.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
JPEGs, PSD, TIFF, DNG, PNG, whatever.
Okay.
Just to show you that you can stitch the panoramas. Obviously, be careful over here. So you have to crop. All right, you have to work it more dark, but I just showed you the way, so I can how to stitch and adjust the perspective. Martin, now I'm going to use this one. Lens correction. Canon. Over here, the transform, most probably it will work. The auto. Okay. Oh, sorry. So I'm going to crop that top part. I will put down a bit the highlights. The whites, exposure, black and white, tone curve, strong, so the shadows go darker. And I need to adjust the whites more. But we can use the linear gradient. Radial for this part, it's a bit bugging me.
Whilst you are editing, Martin,
Yes.
Mario asked, is it possible to batch process in Lightroom like Camera Raw?
Yes. If you have similar images, these are not similar, but this I'm done with. So you just highlight all the images that are the same. Let's say you are shooting group photos in the same place. You just edit one. Obviously, you need to be clicked on the one that you edited, Over here, you just click sync, choose what you've done, or what I do is check all, but I undo the crop because most probably the crop won't be the same, and just click synchronize. And it will make all those. I'm going to do it, although they're not going to come good. But as you can see from here, it did all those editing stuff. Very easy. Any more? Mark Shikluna, Mario. All right. This has a bit of noise, so I want to edit it as well. Camera first. White balance, not bad, but I will go to the HSL and bring down more the oranges. A bit highlights down. As you can see, there's a bit of noise, detail, noise reduction. Noise reduction, my opinion, this is between 30 and 50. Obviously, the lower, the better. Detail, I prefer it 75. Detail is to keep the details, because when you're making noise reduction, the image will soften a bit. So you're telling Lightroom to keep 75% of the detail. Put the highlights more down. Obviously crop. So, to cheat on this part, I will go on the radial filter. Put on the highlights. Now I'm going to exaggerate because I want to do that white patch black. White's down, and then the exposure.
You can clone it from the other side, Martin.
As well. That's the way I do it. But yes, you can. Whatever. Many ways, many. Mark Shikluna. Let's do this.
Can I ask you a question before you start this one?
Yes.
Martin. When you press the preset of the noise reduction, it will automatically erase all the information you did before that, no?
No.
What do you mean, no?
No, because it just does the noise reduction. It didn't. Wait a minute. Let me go back. When I did the noise reduction, the edits that I had here, the HSL, they were all remain there.
They don't, when you do a preset, it only affects on
Yes, because I told that preset to only do that and leave everything as is.
You choose which presets stay on or off. You choose which presets when you save it.
When you wait a minute.
Stays on.
When you do a preset, click on the plus, create preset. You choose, obviously, what you want for that specific preset. So it will lens correction and detail and where's the noise gone? Yeah, it's color noise. And you can untick even some of these. Once you, obviously, you
So
need,
while you on the page, Martin. So if the other ones are not checked, it means if there was some editing, it will not overwrite it. It will remain as is.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you. That's what I want to know.
But you can still, since I pressed the preset, I can still go and fix the preset. It doesn't need to be
Yes, you can
like in Photoshop, sort of.
Yeah. Okay.
Mark Shikluna. See how it works. Yeah, not bad. Lens correction. So once you do the lens correction, Lightroom will remember your camera and lens. Transform auto. It fixed it okay. White balance, I'm not that much happy. All right. I will go with the linear for down here. It's a bit too dark. Obviously, I would like to note the better that you take the photo while you're taking it, is the less time you have in the editing. So as us as photographers, we need to take the photo as good as possible. So
Martin, but they wanted to give you a hard
yes,
time.
yes. I know.
To
I'm just saying this to the maybe beginners or all that.
Martin,
Yeah.
why don't you remove the tower cranes?
Sorry?
Remove the tower cranes.
Yeah, remove the tower cranes. But now they are part of our lifestyle, huh? So now I'm going to.
I just been to Scotland. It's the same thing with tower cranes as well.
Even London, everywhere. Create, select sky.
Not just motor.
Yeah, everywhere. Unfortunately. I'm going to do it a bit more dramatic.
Leonard, we saw that in the Dolomites, where we were staying.
Economy, money.
Ecco. Money ruining the world. So, let me see. I think this will work perfect in black and white, in my opinion.
Also in color, Martin, it was
The
working.
UI, yes.
In fact, I was going to ask you, show us the before and after of that color. How it was.
No, let me create the visual copy.
If you press the X and Y, مش بزيت Martin, jew le?
More just to be.
Y and Y.
Gonna brush a bit over here. There was a bit of sun. I keep clicking here because it used to be, these used to be all here, over here. So I'm still having got the hang of it. Tone down a bit the back of, because these are a bit too bright in my opinion. bit of contrast. Too much. I will desaturate it a bit. Some of these are just my opinions. Bit of texture and the sharpening. And one can see from here this to this. Obviously, you keep on working slowly and refining, and so you make it a bit better. We can also create another virtual copy, so we see how it black and white comes. As well. From this black and white or color. Everyone's taste is different. I think I've gone through everybody's. I'm done. This was just a quick and part of what Lightroom can do.
Any questions? Paul De Guara.
Mux jinstama?
Okay, Paul.
Mike.
El-mic, Paul, I think it's back.
Okay, thank you. Right, sorry about it.
No
well,
worries.
below the histogram, there is a original and smart view. What does that do? Yes, that's it. Yep.
These are what you did. All right. Wait. Smart preview. So it loads faster when you start editing. It makes a smart preview. But when you're editing, you're seeing the original.
Right.
The smart preview, these down here. Especially when you wait a minute. When you are importing, you tick build smart previews, so they will show quickly the thumbnails.
Okay.
You can do it or you cannot do it. It's your own choice.
Okay, thank you very much, Martin.
Welcome. Anyone?
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So now that you've finished the file practically, how do you save it? How do you go about saving it?
You want to as is.
Okay. Normally
it's saved in Photoshop. In Lightroom. Sorry.
Okay. Normally I keep the raw file, and if I've done some edits, I would also keep the Photoshop file, the PSD file.
All
now,
right.
in case of Lightroom, what do you actually do?
Nothing. When let me show you. When you quit Lightroom, I've said this to remind me to back up the catalog every time Lightroom exits.
Okay.
You can do it once a day, once a week. I like to do it every time, but it doesn't mean I will save every time. It depends what I did. If I did lots of work, yes, I will click back up. But if I didn't do too much, I just click skip. And I'm going to do it, so I will show you. Although I didn't back up, Now, when I switch on Lightroom, the share
Share screen, Mario.
because I switched Lightroom off, but
Okay.
just that's why. So I will show. Yeah, can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Yeah.
But as you can see, I didn't back up, but Lightroom still remembered everything that I've done on all the photos.
Okay, so I save my files practically on external hard drives.
Yeah.
Does this remain in Lightroom or?
Yes. If you don't remove them from the, a good point came out from this question. Moving files, when you import in Lightroom, to move files from one hard disk to another, from one folder to another, you have to do it in Lightroom. Because if you don't do it in Lightroom, obviously, I will show you what will happen. But there's a fix, if you know where the file went.
Fizalek, Martin.
Meta il-Lightroom il-problema, when I will put Lightroom back on, you will understand.
Okay.
Mela, I moved this file. You can see there's an exclamation mark over here. It's a tiny bit. And that's telling me the file is not here anymore. Locate it. Hopefully you remember where you've moved it to. So you click locate. I know it's on the desktop. Double click. And it's there with no problem. But if you don't remember where, you've had it. So before I import, I do everything manually. But then sometimes I need to move files or anything, or even create a file. You can just right click, create folder inside Martin. And I create a file and move the files. Do this. And now all I need to do is drag an image and move it to that folder. And it has done it in here as well. Over here you're seeing one image, while here you're seeing two, because one is virtual copy. And as I said, you're not taking space on your hard drive. Although it's showing you have two images, but one that you see the page like the corner folded, that means it's a virtual copy. More.
So, okay, so just to continue with this last question perfectly. So actually, if I'm using an external hard drive, I could actually see the hard drive and folder practically on the side where you click MPS, for example.
Yes. Over here, you're seeing the hard drive.
Exactly.
A good thing is, another thing, I'm doing more, teaching more than what's up. Over here, it's green. That means the hard drive is healthy.
Okay.
So if it goes orange or red, obviously, or yellow, something is going wrong. So you need to take care of that hard disk. And over here, it's telling you how large the hard disk is and how much you're using from it. Another good point. You can have multiple hard drives. It doesn't matter. When importing, like I said before, smart previews, this is another good thing that comes from what Paul asked. When you have that build smart previews, you can leave the hard disk not connected to the laptop or computer and can still edit the image. Which is an amazing thing. But you need to, when importing, to take that build smart preview.
Which means that you are creating an offline image.
Exactly.
Thanks, Martin.
Welcome.
Pauline is asking, can you save the virtual copy on the external drive?
Yes. Just export. Right click and export to whatever format you want.
Any more questions?
Because Lightroom is a database, it's a camera raw. It has part sort of bridge, part of Photoshop. Many photographers that I follow from abroad, most of them use Lightroom. Once you get the hang of it, I'm not telling you this to convince you to move from Photoshop to Lightroom, but many people use Capture one-on-one, and there are so many nowadays. But it is just another way, because you can do much more with Lightroom to be more organized, add keywords, add collections, whatever. I mean, you need to do the course because it's vast.
It is vast, it is, and in fact...
you can do slideshows as well from it.
And Martin will be doing a course at the MPS later on this year for those who are interested to start using Lightroom or to further and understand more how this software works. If there are no more questions, I would like to thank a lot Martin for accepting to do this free tutorial this evening. As Martin was saying, one can spend much more time to edit his work on Lightroom. We gave him a couple of images so that he can show us the different procedures one can use when using Lightroom, different tools one can use on Lightroom. There are others that he didn't use this evening. I thank you for joining us. I remind you to be with us next week. We have the AGM. It is only open for the paid up members. And please put up your name when entering the room, so that it will facilitate us a lot to check if you are a paid up member or not. We will start at 5:45. If there is no quorum, the AGM starts at 18 hours. I wish you all the best for this week. Find time to grab your cameras and go out there, because the weather will be fine and you will have some landscape. For those who love landscape and also for those who love street and architecture, it's time to start taking photos for your collection and also for the 57th National Competition and Exhibition, which will be held in September of this year. I thank you. Have a lovely evening and good night.
Good night and thank you.
Thanks to all.
Process, thank you.